The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of Cylons in the frackin' walls, man. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking episode 1, season 1 of Battlestar Galactica 33. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking Battlestar Galactica, Season 1, Episode 1, named 33. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader is here. What's up, dude? Checking your watch?
Setting my timer, 33 minutes.
33 minutes?
Oh, can we make this a 33-minute
Oh, that would be special.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, good
Hey,
luck.
Siri, start a timer for 33 minutes.
All right, what's up, dude? How you doing?
33 minutes.
You have a Cylon on your wrist,
I know,
bro.
dude. We do. We have fucking Cylons.
We're
It's
all
on-
networked.
It's crazy.
It's on your fracking wrist.
It's on your fracking wrist, bro.
They're going to come on and go, bzzz,
Yeah.
and all our shit's going to die.
Yep.
And we're going to go, God damn,
And only-
Chinese Cylons. They figured it out.
Only people like me are going to survive.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually a Cylon, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Welcome, Jude. How are you doing? Hello. And last but not least, Matt Kanish. Welcome, sir.
Bears
Beats
Battlestar Galactica.
He had to get it in.
Yeah,
I love it.
This
You guys and your dumb office references.
It's a great show.
We're only using Battlestar Galactica references from this moment.
I'm very
forward.
excited to talk about this episode because this is the episode that got me hooked on Battlestar Galactica, and I actually think it's probably the best episode of the entire series. In my
Strong
opinion.
start for the
Yeah.
season, huh? Yeah, for sure.
It was good.
All right, guys. From this point on, it's going to be heavy spoilers for this episode. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Peacock if you have that service. I'm sure you can find it elsewhere, too. You can rent it on Amazon or whatever. Or if you have old digital stuff like a DVD, you can go watch it yourself.
Yeah, Peacock's free. Throw in your old ancient ass Yahoo
No, it's
email
networked.
and get it in there.
Anyway, this, of course, is part of our club members content, so we're going to be breaking down this episode. So head over to saltynerdclub.com and get access to the full spectrum of stuff that we're doing this month for Battlestar. So head over there and join us. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about episode 133.
So say we all.
Welcome back. Hey, if you guys want to support us a different way, if you don't want to become a Patreon, you can also buy some merch over at saltynerdstore.com. And we have got t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of really cool stuff. We'd love for the support to come in from you guys. That doesn't make any sense. We would love for you guys to support us by buying some of our merch. So head over there. And don't forget to type in Salty in the checkout counter to get 10% off. We've got a lot of really great stuff over there. And new designs come in regularly. So head over there regularly and check out. Maybe there's some other shirts that might be new that you might like, that are different from the ones that you got. We've got these two guys wearing shirts right now. Yeah, Vader's got the official Salty Nerd Podcast logo on his shirt. Kadish has Salty Justice Warrior because we got called SJWs one time. Oh, and Jude's wearing Hockey Fan. That's also on there. So head over there. We got a lot of great stuff.
Yeah,
And
we got hats now.
we have hats. Hats are in the store.
Are these the ones we have?
No.
No.
This is my hat.
That's our hat. These are specially designed by Noir.
You can have a hat, but not this one.
Not
'cause
this
fuck
hat.
you.
This is special. It's my special hat. All right, guys. Let's get into episode 133. Take it away, Jude.
All right, sir. It's 5 days after Galactica and the fleet left Ragnar Anchorage and the 12 colonies behind in their search for Earth. Pursued by a Cylon base star, the fleet jumps away, only for it to return exactly 33 minutes later. Sleep deprivation is becoming an issue across the fleet, particularly on board the Galactica. Seconds before the timer runs out and the 33 minutes are up, Petty Officer Duala reports that 10 ships, Colonial One included, are having trouble with their engines due to overuse, this being the 237th planned jump. And Adama knows this means the fleet is getting slower and can't keep outrunning the Cylons.
Okay. Immediately, this premise is freaking awesome.
I know, it's so intense.
It's super intense. Also, again, I mentioned this when we were talking about the miniseries, but like the Hunt for Red October vibe with like the sub commanders inside the command center, and they've got like their walls of technology and stuff like that. Love it.
Well, that's basically the Battle. The Galactica is basically
An old sub.
It's basically a submarine / aircraft carrier in space.
Yeah. I dig it. I love the vibe.
It's a battleship, aircraft carrier, submarine.
Perfect. In space.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, Ronald Moore was like, Windows on spaceships? Nah, man.
Well, it makes it cheaper for them too because they don't have to do VFX shots for all the freaking green screen stuff. So it's just like being like inside of a sub. And also, this episode immediately made me do math, which I love. Anytime I'm willing to do math for a TV show, they've got me hooked. So I'm sitting there, I'm like 237 times. A, That might be a Kubrick reference. B, how many days is that? If they do 33 minutes per jump and it's 230, it's 5.5 days. They've been doing this for 5.5 days.
Constantly.
You know, the longest I've ever gone was 3 days. And I was a
With no
mess.
sleep?
I was a mess.
Yeah, but I did a bunch of coke then.
No, I didn't. In fact,
I took my
was,
stims.
Yeah.
I was on a bender trip with some friends. We went to Reno.
Yeah.
And it was, ugh.
I did 36
rough.
hours one time. I can't remember why. I think I might have been playing video games or something, but it was just 36 hours straight.
I don't think human beings are supposed to go more than like 12 hours or 20 hours at the most, right?
I crashed my car at about 38 hours. Literally.
It's gonna be a documentary about Jude's bender someday.
I wasn't high, I swear. I was just sleep deprived.
So the thing I love about this episode is it starts right off the bat with a ticking clock.
Yeah.
And basically it's relentless. Every 33 minutes, like they're under like constant assault. I can remember like when this came out, so I had just moved to LA. It was kind of funny because I didn't have cable. I had DirecTV. And at the time, DVRs weren't like really a thing. Like you could go down to Best Buy and buy a TiVo and then like sign up for the service and have it record like up to like 6 hours of stuff or like whatever. So I was still recording stuff on VHS and I missed like when this premiered because I was in the middle of moving. And so I went on and I torrented this episode because I wanted to see like the original, like, you know, the premiere for the
You
series.
are speaking old Battlestar Galactica speak, my friend.
Yeah.
We're all networked.
Yeah, but so I can remember I downloaded this on my computer and I watched it. I was like, okay, like I didn't like the mini series. And so like I'm gonna give the series a shot and I'll give it 5 episodes to impress me. And by the time 10 minutes in, I was hooked. Like this episode hooked me into the series and I became like a huge Battlestar Galactica devotee after watching this episode. It's that good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And like you said, the ticking clock in this episode is
The
like
literal ticking clock.
Yeah, everybody has a clock in the scene. They just got done showing it on the screen over here. Like everybody in their little area, like if it's the mechanics down in the bunker or if it's the high command up in they all have a clock with a little piece of paper taped to it. It says 33 minutes. And every time it hits, they're like, we got to fucking run.
Yeah.
Well,
plus they all have to brace themselves too because like it's not just like the physical exhaustion of being
Staying
sleep
awake,
deprived.
yeah.
It's the physical exhaustion of constantly being jumped out of your space.
That brings up a great question because I'm not familiar with this universe. They have faster than light travel, but it doesn't, like visually, it doesn't look like the same as like Star Trek where they like go into warp speed.
I
And
think
it's more like a teleport,
They're
right?
like creating wormholes for the jump. I don't know how it works.
I think this is
either.
more of a Stephen Hawking
Like teleport room.
kind of a fold space, kind of blink kind of thing.
If you fold a piece of paper.
And poke a hole through it.
Yeah.
Like the Event Horizon or whatever.
Yeah, so they have like sublight drives, which allow them to basically travel extremely fast without hitting light speed.
Right.
But then they have their jump drives, which allows them to kind of like blink from like one point to another. But it takes a lot of calculations in order to do that. And one of the interesting things about this episode is like, so every 33 minutes, the Cylons catch up with them, and Galactica has to send out their fighters to basically create like a point defense shield in order to intercept any incoming missiles or whatever to give the fleet time to basically make the next jump. And everyone's wondering, it's like, why is it 33 minutes? Why is it always exactly 33 minutes from the point that we jump and they're able to track us? And so like there's a little mystery involved here as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just the relentless pursuit aspect. It's the like, how are they doing this?
Yeah, which is a question. That's one of the first things I asked. I'm like, what? How? Is there a tracker? Is there like a radio signal that they're turning on every 33 minutes?
I had so much fun.
I wanted to know.
Because at the start of this thing, I'm like, okay, guys, pay attention to the 33 signs
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over the first 3 minutes of the show. What? 33 what?
Don't
What's
you-
33?
Don't you feel so elitist? watching it?
It's like, pay attention. There's stuff happening right now.
You freaking pleb. All right, Jude, go ahead.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Worn out, exhausted, and with nerves fried, the crew and pilots try to get the Vipers back out there. Boomer's new ECO is trying to gossip through his anxiety, but he didn't read that no one else in the room is in the mood for tea. Commander Adama and Colonel Tai consider a plan to confuse the Cylons into giving up by splitting the fleet into 6 groups, which will merge again on the 4th jump. On Colonial 1, President Roslin is disappointed with the current survivor count estimates, which are 300 less than the previous estimate. Billy explains a number of people died of injuries they sustained in the attack, and some were counted twice by accident earlier. Roslin turns to a whiteboard and has to keep lowering the number of survivors.
I feel like that whiteboard is like
Oh, it's a huge plot point.
huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a cool little reminder of how fragile we
despairing,
are.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like,
So there's only 50,000 or less than 50,000 people left alive
yeah.
that they
There
know
were
of.
50,000 around.
So
yeah.
did the Cylons attacked all 12 colonies
All
at
12
once?
colonies.
Is each
It was a calculated.
is each colony a different planet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And this just happened
It's
across
like
the board.
Caprica, Sagittarian.
Yeah. And you mentioned something interesting about the Zodiac stuff.
All the colonies are for each different tribe of humans,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all based on the Zodiac.
Okay.
So like Caprica is the Capricorn, Sagittarian is Sagittarius, and so on and so forth.
Is there any continued significance about that?
Yes.
Okay.
But it goes through the series.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it now because I'm not super familiar with it. I know, there was a lot of that stuff in the original series that they played up on. There's a lot of, I don't know. It's just they do play up on it. Like Earth is the lost 13th tribe,
Right,
and all this stuff, and and each tribe has their own kind of personality quirks and everything that they kind of get played on a little bit as the series goes on. But,
Okay.
But Caprica were the most advanced tribe of the colonies. They had the big.
It was
tall,
like the capital.
classic skyscrapers, and like I think one of them was like more militaristic, and one of them's more agricultural based kind of thing. So yeah,
Gotcha. Cool.
I wanted to ask Alex, did you notice who Boomer's new co-pilot was?
Boomer.
he did. He most certainly did.
Oh,
Crashdown.
Sam
Yeah.
Witwer.
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking Star Killer's in this show. I was blown away. I had no idea he was involved in this show at all. And I'm wondering if he's going to like die super early because I don't remember anybody ever mentioning him in the show.
He's not a regular. I think
Okay.
he's in a couple episodes and then like they either kill him off or he just disappears or something like that. This show early on had a bad habit of introducing characters and then just kind of forgetting about them.
Well, plus he's the replacement for Hilo, who's trapped on Caprica right now.
Yeah. We all assumed he died. But
Well,
he's
they did.
yeah, they did. I did too. I was like, he's dead. He stayed with the freaking planets stayed with the humans on the planet. All right. Good to go?
Yeah?
Yep. Take it away.
Okay. In other news, Gaius' leggy blonde hallucination just asked him to have a baby with her, per God's command, to be fruitful. And his reaction to her interrupts a discussion Billy is having with the president over Dr. Amarak, who he recalls as a fellow computer researcher at the Ministry of Defense. Dr. Amarak believes he has important information on how the Cylons were able to bypass the defense mainframe. Six hovers over the discussion, commenting on how she always suspected he was on to them. And Gaius offers to act as the president's proxy, but is declined. President Roslin says she'll meet with him after Jump 238, as there is not enough time to do so before the base star arrives.
So I'd like to point out Billy for a second.
Yeah.
So this is a new character. He's kind of like the assistant to the president. But what's interesting is that the actor who plays Billy got really full of himself in this season. And basically he was like, I'm too good for this show. I'm going to go off and, lead my own series and stuff like that.
Nobody wants a Billy series.
well, no, it wasn't a Billy series, but he quit the show in order to go on because he thought that like he could headline his own show and stuff like that. And basically his character gets replaced by like a different character like later on. But the first season's very Billy like heavy because like he's basically at Rosalind's like right hand side.
Yeah.
And the being featured in the show kind of went to his head, and it got to the point where he basically just quit the show to go off to do bigger and better things that never materialized. And I've never seen this guy in anything else ever since.
His character, I mean, he's in a lot of the shots, but just because he's standing next to the president.
Yeah. Gosh,
Yeah.
the ego on that guy.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I don't think it really matters, but I just want to know because it's
Okay.
part of the world building in this. Why are all the papers octagon shaped?
Just to be different.
That's it?
I
It's
think so.
literally just a world building thing. We're like,
Yeah.
look, we're spacey.
It's,
So we cut the corners off the paper.
They say frack and they have paper cuts corners.
Okay.
Paper cutted corners. Yeah. I think it's a maybe. Is there an is it a thing to like the original series? Maybe I don't remember if they had that in the original series.
look it
or
up in
not.
the wiki.
Yeah, I might have to.
But, yeah.
I just thought it was
I'm
interesting.
sure somebody will let
I
us
don't.
know.
Pop it in the comments.
I don't
Yeah.
dislike it. I don't dislike it at all. I think it's very interesting.
I kind of like it.
I'm just kind of like,
I
why?
want my papers to be my corners cut.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Star Trek. What was it? Nemesis? No, it was First Contact, where we see Picard going through his scrapbook, his picture book,
Yeah.
and all the corners are like cut off. And it's like, how do we make paper look spacey? I'll just cut the corners off.
the corners off.
Rounded corners or clipped off?
Well, that depends on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just a stupid question I had. But,
Nose ridges or ear points?
Yeah.
What do we do?
But it is interesting to see like life in the space caravan type thing. Everyone's kind of like confined to their own ships. They don't have time to like, there's no teleporters in this universe. So like they actually have to take like a shuttle from like ship to ship in order to like transfer over. And the fact that Gaius kind of picks up on the fact that there's someone out there who might know, like he was the one who was behind like the hacking of the defense grid, that instantly kind of puts him on edge. And also he pissed off Six by saying like, I don't want you to be my baby mama.
Also, you're crazy. Your religion is crazy.
she's not real. What the fuck is this guy doing?
Maybe she is real.
Is he asking himself to have a
Maybe-
baby with himself? Is that
maybe-
what's happening?
Maybe she's like in the base star, messing with the implant that's been put in his brain.
Yeah. Or she wants him to put a
Or-
ring on it.
Or maybe he's just batshit crazy.
Okay, but
Who knows?
she is real. Like this is the woman he's had a relationship for months, and not knowing that she was a Cylon. And when she died on Caprica, she went somewhere.
She's in the cloud.
my theory is that she has a method of communicating with Gaius.
Okay.
But she's just not next to him, but she's in here.
Because he's like he's physically doing things as if she is there. Like he's like holding her hand,
Right.
and then they'll cut from somebody else's perspective.
Wait till they fuck.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you hate it, but
I do.
But man, they do a lot of exposition dumps and stuff with this dynamic throughout this whole
Yeah,
series.
and
So-
it's also important to note that so like in this episode in particular, Six is trying to get Gaius to convert to her religion, and it's unclear whether or not there is some that's one of the great things about this series is like they do like the religion versus science thing really well, where it's like, okay, by the end of the episode, was there divine intervention here, or was this something that the Cylons orchestrated because they need Gaius to like be on their side?
Gaius is so self-involved. He totally is able to just be like, of course I'm very important to God. Oh shit, this must all be real.
he becomes so obnoxious.
Oh,
as this series
even
goes on.
worse?
This is low level Baltar. Yeah.
This is nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's his character has a wild arc.
Yeah, but
I wanted to talk just really quick, that I think one of the reasons I like this show, and you just touched on it a little bit a few minutes ago, Matt, is the differences between this show and other sci-fi shows that we like. There's no transporters. Everything's very,
Analog.
Everything's very. I feel like it's kind of based on like more practical, real science kind of stuff. With the shuttles, it's grittier, it's dirtier. And I think it's just one of the things that drew me to this show. It's not clean. The uniforms aren't all pristine all the time. They don't have things like food synthesizers and stuff like that.
Nothing's easy.
Nothing's easy in this show, and I think that's one of the reasons I do like this show.
There are actually supply chains in the show and stuff like that. And I just wanted to point out, since we were talking about Baltar, James Callis, the actor who plays Baltar, kills it in this show.
Oh, he does.
Like, absolutely kills it.
I hate him.
Well, you're supposed to hate it.
I know. So I mean, he's doing a good job, but god damn it.
He's the Sylvia Hooks of Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Yes.
How's that? Is that better?
Yep. Puts it in perspective.
Okay.
All right.
He prays all the time too.
Yeah, he makes some power moves later on in the series too.
All right, go ahead, Jude.
On Cylon-occupied Caprica, Hilo rushes through a dense forest away from the Cylon Centurions. In the possession of explosives, he is able to destroy the attackers. On Galactica, in the minutes ahead of the jump, Duala reports to Commander Adama that there have been 12 new diagnoses among the crew of nervous exhaustion, which makes it 61 in total. Unable to retire crew members at this time, he asks for Dr. Caudle to prescribe steroids to keep them alert. The Viper pilots return to the hangar deck where Apollo has informed them of the orders to take stimulants. Starbuck refuses to take them, as she finds their effect on combat performance overall as bad as the sleep deprivation. She begins arguing with him over his poor leadership skills as the new CAG. He should be threatening to have the pilots forcibly given stimulants rather than advising it. She quickly gives in and takes them.
She wanted to take him the whole time, but she needed to lead a man up and be a fucking CAG and tell her what to do. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
She knows what's up.
Are they just caffeine pills?
It's meth.
Meth.
He's not joking.
It's steroids.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Is it methamphetamine?
Yeah, they're stems.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just all bugging out. So my first question, and I think I asked this when we were watching it in the watch party, I was like, so how come they haven't established some kind of a shift work thing with the crew?
Probably because there's a lack of people.
Yeah.
There's that few people.
They have stuff they have to do and they don't have enough people to do it.
Which brings up another question.
Remember, they were on
a museum.
They were on a museum ship. They had a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
They were getting ready to decommission. So
and their crew wasn't exactly the top tier.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, and all of their actual ships, the Cylons could shut them down. The ships that they're flying right now are 50-year-old ships.
Ancient.
They were museum
and
pieces.
Tyrell is constantly trying to they go out, they get fucked up, they come in. He's got to constantly be trying to repair these ships by the next 33 minutes to get them back out there.
And also the other ships are all civilian transports. They're not military ships. And so they just had basically the pilot and the co-pilot on most of these ships. They didn't have crews that knew how to come in and swap out and fly the ships and stuff like that. So basically it's the worst possible situation. Although I do think that on the Galactica, they could set up some type of shift thing where people are on shift.
But they kind of did it. We're like, oh, you get to go take a 10-minute nap. But I'm like, why not do I don't know, an hour rotation? Go sleep for an hour, come back. We'll do
I think they just keep hoping that this jump is going to be the jump. Yeah. That they don't have to do this anymore.
238 jumps. That's freaking nuts, dude. That's nuts. Anyway, I had a ton of questions. I also had a ton of questions about the Vipers. I was like, how many freaking Vipers do they have on this ship? And if they send them out and at least one, let's just say one gets destroyed every time, that's 200 ships that are gone now. That's not sustainable. How many do they have? They can't make any more.
Even more than the ships are the pilots.
Yeah.
So they only have a finite number of pilots. And that's something that they get into later on in the series where they're like, we got to train more pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier today, everything the resource wise and man wise
that I'm questioning,
that you're questioning, it all gets taken care of. It all gets addressed.
Okay.
And not for the better sometimes. That's what's cool about this show. It's there are questions. Ron Moore knew we were going to have questions. He knew the nerds out there.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on with this?
I hope they consider this.
And I really think Ron Moore is well, the dorks out there are going to be calling me out on these questions. So I'm just going to write an entire episode and answer this particular question. And that's kind of what he does with a lot of these upcoming shows.
And Ronald D. Moore, so his background was in Star Trek. So he knew the nerds were going to question that stuff. But I don't know if you know this or not, but he's also the executive producer and creator of Outlander.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He wrote one of my favorite Next Generation episodes. I think it was one of the first ones he did. It's Yesterday's Enterprise. The one where Tasha Yar comes back.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great episode.
And I've run into him at the Star Trek convention here in Vegas a couple of times. Super cool guy. I also ran into Richard Hatch. We should probably talk a little bit about Richard Hatch for a second. So Richard Hatch was the actor who played the original Apollo. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He passed away a couple of years back. But I got to meet him a couple of times at the Star Trek conventions. And super nice guy. But for the longest time, he had been trying to get a Battlestar reboot going. And he had even made I think a independent pilot episode to try to get funding for it and stuff like that. And when this show got going, he was very resentful of Ronald D. Moore for making this without him. And eventually, because of fan I guess negotiations or whatever, Ronald D. Moore connected with Richard Hatch, and he actually came on the series as a regular in a different role, but it was kind of cool to see him on the show at some point. This was actually the second incarnation of a Battlestar reboot, where the first one that Richard Hatch was kind of leading the charge on never got off the ground.
Oh, that's interesting. Any other thoughts on this scene before we head off?
No.
Good. All right, cool. All right, guys, if you want access to the entire episode, head over to saltynerdclub.com and sign up to become a club member. The lowest tier is $5 only, and you get access to all of these episodes, plus a backlog of content where we're talking classic sci-fi, Star Trek, Stargate Atlantis, Doctor Who, all kinds of really cool stuff. So head over there, join up in the club members area, and join us. We have a ton of fun over here, and we're talking about Battlestar Galactica for the month of October. So if you love this show and you have insights on it and you want to join the discussion, join up as a club member. We would love to have you, and we will look forward to seeing you there. All right, everybody, let's get the heck out of here. Matt Vader, where can they find you?
Hey, thanks everybody for checking the show out today. And you can find me at Matt Vader 74 on the Twitter and other social medias. And I'm also running the Twitter for the show at salty_podcast. Is that no salty underscore? What is it?
Salty_nerd.
Salty_nerd. Yeah, that's the one. I'm getting my stuff all mixed up. So yeah.
All right,
yeah, so yeah, there we go.
Also, I just wanted to put it out there for people because I know that there's so many Battlestar Galactica fans out there, and definitely join us on Discord to talk about it because we are super, super active on Discord. There's going to be a lot of conversations moving forward about this.
I've got so many questions, guys.
Yeah, and then we're going to be doing a Battlestar Galactica trivia at the end of the month too, so stay tuned for that. And you can find me at I am Juju on the socials.
All right, Matthew Kadish.
So you can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish, on both Twitter and Truth Social. And you can also find me at kadishbooks.com, takes you to my Amazon page. And I'm very much looking forward to talking about Battlestar Galactica. We just got done talking about Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and the guy who created that show also created the original Battlestar Galactica. So there's a little bit of continuity there. But we've got so many great episodes of us reviewing classic science fiction shows. You can kind of find them on our YouTube channel and on Spotify and Apple iTunes and all that good stuff. So be sure to check those out because we have a lot of fun talking about them.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thanks for watching the video. Club members, let's go.